You sure you're ready for this?
I'll do my best.
Your best? Losers always whine about their best. Winners go home and the prom queen.
Welcome to the best soccer show. The best soccer show in the whole world.
Here we go. It's JD and the Rod, America's best soccer show, and we are live on a Wednesday night, a beautiful evening where I am. Imagine it's a beautiful evening in Southern California. Lovely Southern California.
I just looked out the window and it's sunny and nice, and
it
everything
never
nice.
rains in Southern California. That's what I've been told my entire life.
Well, then you shouldn't have been here the last week because it rained 4 out of 5 days. So,
But you need that. You need that moisture for the crops that you guys grow out there.
got to keep it moist.
That's a word people don't like. I know there was just recently a thing with the Prime Minister of Canada where he said something like, "Oh," he said the word and he was like, "Ew, I don't like that word. Let's not use that word."
Wait. Are you telling me the Canadians say "ew"? What does that sound you make?
They say, "Eh." I don't like the word moist, eh?
Dude, I think I just found a gnarly piece of cilantro in my teeth. I'm glad
What's
that
that
we're
on
on
the
video
food,
tonight.
eh? Yeah, I heard you had some Chipotle. Jared Dubois drinking soda in a glass on ice before the program. Now, you explained it to me. It's still there. You explained it to me, and I guess it made sense. If
Okay, let me go back 24 hours.
Oh, okay. What is this like?
You want the story? You want the story?
This is Memento now. What's happening here?
We're gonna tell the story from reverse.
You have Mr. Pibb and tattoo on your arm. Go ahead.
No, I do not. Oh, it's not Mr. Pibb, that's for sure. So Walmart yesterday, as with most people, if you're doing your Walmart order, you find out when you go to pick your groceries, we don't have half your crap. I'm like, oh, okay. So one of the things that I did not have out of stock was Dr. Pepper. Two things you can't get: toilet paper and Dr. Pepper, I guess.
Yeah, run on Dr. Pepper. It's a must.
Because it's a Dr. Pepper household. Okay, just let you know.
No, Dr. Pepper lasts for 75 years if you properly store it. I mean, I don't know why.
And do you know the reason why Dr. Pepper tastes so good even when it's still diet?
23 herbs and spices. Is that right?
The 23 different ingredients. They are not calorie based.
Isn't it?
So the actual flavor of Dr. Pepper doesn't really change from diet to regular.
But it is 23. I got that one right. The number 23
is correct.
Which is a Jim Carrey movie, right? The number 23. Is that 23 or 26? Everything comes back to 20. Numerology now. We're in numerology.
Dude, you're out of here. I don't know about that. So anyway, I don't have Dr. Pepper in the house. I've been fiending today. I'm home. I can't get out. I got the kids. I'm not going to drive them to like all the way just to like a Circle K or 7-Eleven, like just to get a soda, you know? So my wife's going to Chipotle to pick up dinner. I'm like, hey, I put in for a soda. I know they don't have Dr. Pepper. You might have to get me the Pibb. You know, so she comes home, no ice. There's no ice at Chipotle. They don't have any ice. So my soda's hot. So she puts it in a glass like an amazing wife that I have.
You are brand loyal to the doc. You're not going to mess around with Mr. Pibb unless you have to.
If you're gonna get a soda at a graduate level.
Yeah, right. Get a soda with a postgraduate degree. Don't get
what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, Mr. Pibb, do we even know if he has a bachelor's?
It's like you're buying like soda of a guy in his trench coat on the inside off the street, you know?
We don't know if he graduated high school, if he's got a GED.
I don't know how many ingredients are in this.
Mr. Pibb's got 22 ingredients. He's missing that one special. Have you ever done the generic?
Oh, like Dr. Smooth? That's the one we have out here.
Like Dr. Mountain or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, those things, some of them are all right. I'm not gonna lie, some of them are all right.
I mean, they're half the price, right? Like it's 99 cents for a 4-liter or whatever. Those big honking ones, not the 2-liter, the 3-liter. You ever get the 3-liter ones with the massive cap on them? It's like that big around.
When I go camping, I enjoy the 3-liter.
Yeah.
Because when I go camping, the orange soda doubles as my toothpaste. All that fizziness just like takes care of everything, right?
Wait, what? Stop.
When I was in high school,
stop. You don't even go for like this spearmint drink. You go for
these big old camping trips, right? And be like, I'm in high school. I ain't worried about nothing. Like orange soda, I used it like toothpaste. Like in the morning, swish around your mouth. Your mouth feels alive afterwards, man.
So
all that fizziness.
That is so gross.
Then you spit it out, so you get all of it out. You know.
A phone line's open here on a Wednesday night on JD and the Rod. We are taking your phone call 717-727-2378. 717-727 best. That's the number you call to get in. There are some soccer stories, Jared, that we need to get to, and we have some time, and we're gonna do that. But
for the calls, calls.
you have a question you would like to pose to the besties.
Well, Nikki Soup and Sausage set the Slack on fire before the show tonight. So there was some talk out there about people's like first concerts, people throwing out pictures of like piles of ticket stubs. Is that even a thing anymore? That's so our generation to have ticket stubs.
Yeah, nobody. Yeah,
is anyone saving their iWallet, and like showing all their.
I've seen a couple Instagram stories where people are like, my shoebox full of memories. And when I went to the Pixies in 93 or whatever it was.
I had one. I'm not going to lie. I had one. I used to keep in my wallet. I had my favorite concerts ever. I would keep them in my wallet. They were so faded you couldn't even read them anymore.
Wait, in your wallet is the worst place you could keep them. They're going to get.
You never know when you got to show off for a girl. Like, yeah, I was at the Whiskey in 96.
Wow. Okay, man. You do you. It's Southern California. Maybe it's a completely different vibe. Tell me. What's the question for the people out there?
So 2 things we want to know. If you call in tonight, we want to know 2 things when you call in. No hard takes. You don't have to. If you want to come with a hard take, you come with a hard take. But
there's DA hard takes.
We want to know 2 things.
Hard takes, World Cup hard takes. Bring it. Yeah, bring it. But
we want to know how you experienced 2 things for the first time.
Okay, this is dangerous territory. Before I'm going to do preemptive. We have no idea where this goes.
I want to know about your soccer virginity and your concert virginity. What was the first concert you ever went to? First live concert?
Yeah.
And what was your first live soccer game you ever went to?
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Now, and listen, your high school's like I'm talking about professional soccer game you went to.
Okay? Yeah. You can. And
I want you to call in with 2.
Not like the local band at the teen club for your concert either. Like,
because listen, I had shows I went to before. I don't consider it my first concert. I went to like punk shows, local stuff like that. Yeah. There's high school bands. Like my first. Well, we can do ours. We're on the air right now. Well, okay. We may have done it before.
But that's a long time ago. It's been a while. We can do it. But I want to know. Here's a question I have for you. When you went to shows, or when you were not a music, like you were into music, but did you play instruments? Were you a music?
I was in band through junior high school. In high school I decided to play sports, and I couldn't do it. Didn't really want to do both. Didn't
form a band and try to.
No, it's a lot of my best friends were in bands, though, but I wasn't. No.
So, but when you went and saw that, maybe they had a show. Maybe there was a teen club in town.
Yeah,
I don't know what
there was. The cafes,
Ontario. What were they trying to be like? Who were they trying to emulate? Who were they basically a cover?
Oh, it was ska bands. It was ska bands and punk bands. It was one of the 2. And all my friends, they did traditional ska. So it was all like 1960s slower stuff. Like it wasn't it wasn't like all that Real Big Fish bullshit. Like there was like class warfare.
Did you just hate on Real Big Fish? Come on.
Listen, I've sold out. It's
that is the. You just made Nick so happy with that reference. You guys can see the Baba Booey cam right now. Nick is having himself a laugh over.
Well, here's the thing. There's a big mystery going on in the Slack right now. Nick has not revealed what his first concert is. Do you
want to go to him first? Do we want to bring in?
I think we need to take a guess.
I think the caller should call in and guess the concert I saw.
That's actually a good one. That's a good move. Who was and Nick, you're an Ohio native, born and raised, right?
Yep.
We have the.
He's given a couple hints too.
He's given a couple hints as to
the only hint is the year. Nick was 1992.
Yeah, June of '92.
Well, okay, so and based on what we know about Nick's age, he's a little bit younger than me and quite a bit older than Jared Dubois.
What the hell, dude? 3 years is not that big deal.
Put him right at like 13, 12 years, 11 years old.
I would have been 11 years that summer. Yes.
11 years old for his first ever.
See, I think I got this, dude.
That means somebody yanked him there. Or he may want to go, but there's probably a chaperone involved. I'm just saying. There's probably.
I hope there's a chaperone involved.
Some people let their kids go wild.
I can definitely tell you as another clue. I went with my mom and my sister, who is younger than me.
All right.
I still don't think it matters. I think I know it.
I want it to be crisscross so bad.
Is that your guess?
No, I'm not doing that. No.
No. Nick, you don't have to give me the answer right now. We can see if anyone wants to call in and get a guess as well.
We'll save it to the end of the show.
And I'm going to cover your face, so I just want to read your reaction because I don't want to know.
Oh,
I think it's Vanilla Ice.
It is not.
Okay. Well,
dude, we just said don't say.
You weren't supposed to respond. You were supposed to let him throw a guess out there into the wild.
Well,
let it float. Let him accuse you of Vanilla Ice.
Chocolate Ice.
Here's something about my generation, and Jared, again, you're a little older, but I'm guessing it was still a big thing. Everybody my age, white kids, okay, I'm not going to put this on anybody else, definitely white kids, knows all of the lyrics to Ice Ice Baby. I do not know the
I
lyrics.
only know one. I know one verse.
Okay.
I know the verse is a rolling in my six. Wait, sorry. Rolling with the rag top down with my head. Wait, hey, how's it start?
I don't know something. It starts
The rag
with,
top down to my hair can blow. Girlies on
I-
standby, waiting just to say hi. Did I stop? No, I just rolled by, kept on, pursuing to the next stop.
nobody
That's
asked.
that's about all I know.
I just referenced Vanilla Ice and say do Vanilla Ice. Okay, call in at 717-727-2378 with your first ever concert and with your first ever soccer experience, and then whatever else you got. You want to bring in soccer stories that we're going to touch on here? Absolutely, we're going to save Nick's. Jared, you wanted to do? You're going to hate me. You're going to hate me so much. My memory sucks for that stuff. I can remember who won the batting title in 1968, but I can't remember.
No, here's the thing. You know exactly what it is, and you
No.
don't want to say it. You care
not
too
true.
much about what the answer is.
Okay, well, first of all, I was a shy kid with no friends when I was in high school.
Oh my god.
No, I swear to God. So part of it was I wanted to go to stuff and I didn't go because I didn't have anybody to go with. I do recall a concert when I was a freshman
I
in
hate that you
college.
actually made me feel bad for you right now.
Okay, actually I have it's one of two. It's one of two.
It's not like John B.
No, it's one of two bands. And I'll tell you. You want me to tell you now, or we're saving this one too?
No, go for it. No, I'll do mine too.
Okay. It's either Everlast
Ooh.
in a club in Boston or Soul Coughing. And I was really
so,
big into Soul Coughing.
so okay, so it's college then, because you were in Boston for college.
Yeah, I was in Boston. Well, I saw Soul Coughing here also with Everclear. So Everclear was involved at some point in my early concert
You're
going.
just big on the Evers.
Apparently, Everclear and Everlast. Very different experiences, though. I enjoyed
between those
Everlast one
two.
better.
Well, I know for a fact which one mine was, and I remember I rode in the back of my buddy's pickup truck to go there, and well, there was a cab on it, but I went and saw the Who, probably 1996.
I mean, that's a flex. I mean, that's later Who, obviously, but that's a.
It is later. It was the Quadrophenia tour, and I remember Billy Idol came out and did. The Sting plays a role in the movie Quadrophenia. If you've ever seen it, Sting has one of his first time he was ever in a movie, I think. And Billy Idol came out and did that part, and it was at the Anaheim at the pond where the Ducks play.
Okay.
That's a really good show. I was a big Who fan. My dad
You
got me
went down
into
to Anaheim and you saw the Who. All right, yeah, okay. So there was a period, and maybe I guess it happens with every generation, where there's like a group of kids. I'm not saying you were like this because I know you were into ska and punk and that like the later trends in those areas. But there was
the Who was one of the pioneers that led the punk movement came out of the Who. You know.
Oh yeah,
so.
sure. But I'm saying like the there's like a group of kids that are super retro that are only into stuff from like 30 years ago. Did you have those kids in your high school, like wearing their hair down here? And
See, well, I don't know if it was like this at your school, but our school, 70s was big.
Oh yeah,
Because Days of Confused came out in what, 93, 94,
Yeah, it was
maybe 95, somewhere in there.
bunch of kids cosplaying Dazed and Confused.
There was a lot of that going on. Like corduroy was big, dude.
Corduroy
Like a
was
ton of corduroy came back because grunge had already taken things kind of like flannelly and like thick, heavy cottons and stuff like that. So it wasn't a big leap to go to 70s like corduroy and stuff like that. So everyone was doing 70s stuff. But funny you mentioned that because Nick put up a video to us tonight called Nick Eats Toledo, a short-lived series he did 10 years ago on YouTube.
Mhm.
The first video of which you see if he can eat 50 chicken nuggets in 10 minutes.
I
I'm not going to bury the lead and let you know which. I'm not going to like spoil it.
Okay, I was gonna say don't spoil it because I only saw him eat one plate before I got pulled away to do the
The only
show.
thing I'm going to spoil because this kind of plays to this. Nick, did you secure the rights to that Queen song you used in that video?
I will be completely honest with you. I did not produce the video; somebody else did.
That's going to help you in court.
So I guarantee we did not secure the rights for that.
But his name,
Duh and or hello.
his name is on the show, Jared. I mean, I know he's just the talent. He's just
I didn't realize that we had someone that was that big and like just pushing buttons for us.
No, I mean, I looked. Hey, you know what? That video has thousands upon thousands more views than anything we've ever made. I can tell you right now. Well,
It's also been around 10 years.
that's not true. Well, that's true too. Well, so have we actually, basically at this point. I mean, not
I
quite,
don't
but
know if you go back to some of those. I wonder how many hits it has, views it has. But Nick, the second episode, when you go and eat pizza in the middle of a pizzeria during the shift. Like, it's going on. The place is open for business. How did that go down? Because the people in the booth behind you, eventually you interviewed him, but the whole first part, I'm like, oh my God, I feel so bad for those people behind you because you're filming like you're filming like a skit in the booth right in front of them. And like, how did the place feel about you doing that?
Well, I mean, honestly, we approached the place beforehand, so they knew we were coming in, and they were fine with, like, the ownership was fine with it. It wasn't like a chain or anything, so it was like a actual, like, the owner was there making the pizzas, you know. So, as far as I haven't watched that episode probably in 10 years, so I don't even remember who was, being filmed. I don't remember anything, but they seemed okay with it.
It's a random 4 people trying to enjoy their dinner.
Yeah. Go check it out. Nick Eats Toledo
On YouTube.
on YouTube. Yeah, go look for Nick eating lots and lots of things, at least in the first one. All right, so let's. Phone lines are open. We got that going. Questions are out there. Concerts, first ever soccer experience. I do think we have to get to some of the soccer stuff, and although we don't have any games, and that's still not happening, Jared, some things have gone down. Now, one of them is related directly to when we're going to get games back. Major League Soccer, and Don Garber said, I think on Taylor Twellman's banter earlier this week, that Major League Soccer was going to have to extend their training moratorium, and that they were looking at, when they came back, playing games behind closed doors. He called it MLS Studios. I was thinking, like, suddenly this was like Nickelodeon to me. Like, are we going to be putting on?
So does that mean they're going to bring all the teams like to one central location and kind of play?
I
Kind
think
of like when they did the combine.
I think that's what they're talking about.
Nothing's better right now than bringing a lot of people to one place. That's exactly what we should be doing.
Well, they would all be sequestered in their own individual hotels. I guess they would be separated, and there'd be a lot of testing involved in order to make this happen. The Premier League actually came up with this idea a couple of weeks ago. It was floated out there as a report. Now, again, this came out this week, what Don Garber was talking about, and then MLS yesterday, following the news, because Taylor Twellman put it into the world before his show even aired today, Major League Soccer issued a statement saying that they're regularly evaluating the impact of the pandemic, including how it will affect plans for the 2020 season. Although we hope to return to play in mid-May, that is extremely unlikely based on the guidance of federal and local public health authorities. Our goal remains to play as many games as possible, and while we currently have enough dates to play the entire season, we recognize at this time that it may become difficult to do so. We continue to learn more every day from the medical experts, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So basically, don't hold your breath. We probably aren't going to get a whole season. And although this was always going to be an asterisk year, Jared, and that's hard to say, asterisk, it's definitely one now. I don't think it's going to, I don't want to be doom and gloom. I'm not trying to be.
Yeah, I don't see how it can be. I mean, how it can't be. I just also, I'm kind of feeling like, is it worth bringing it back if it has to be like this? Like, it's any soccer. I don't know. Are we saying any soccer is better than no soccer? Is that what we're saying?
That's a good question. Man, there. So
because at the end of the day, is there a cup? Is there a title? What does it mean? And 10 years from now, are we going to care? Kind of like the All-Star game when they hand out a trophy. Do we care that someone has a trophy? So 5 years from now, are we going to care enough about this that it's worth the health of the players to put them out there just so ad revenue can happen?
If there's any issues with the health of the players, you don't do it. Okay, or anybody, you don't do it. Now, if you can do it safely, I do understand what you're saying. I do think we'll remember it because it's such a unique thing. This isn't an all-star game that happens every year and where they beat Fulham or lose to Chelsea or lose to Manchester. It's such a unique situation, but I don't know if that's a reason to do it. We've got phone calls. I want to make sure these people don't wait too long. Go first to Jim in Philly. Jim, you're on JD and the Rod. What's up, man?
What's going on, guys?
Hey,
So I got my first match here.
Okay. What you got?
my soccer virginity. So first match 2011, Philadelphia Union versus Vancouver Whitecaps in Philly, of course. They won with a late goal by Carlos Ruiz, I believe it was.
Pescadito playing for the Union back then.
Yeah.
That wasn't
many good results after that.
That wasn't the Galazzo. He had one incredible goal for the Union, if I remember correctly. But that wasn't that like. No. That wasn't his like half court hitter that he did. That was mid-season later in the year. All right. What else you got, Jim?
First concert's going to be, no doubt, Weezer and the Lunatics, 1997, Camden,
Wait.
New Jersey.
Hold on. Weezer, No Doubt, and who?
The Lunatics.
The Lunatics. I don't know them.
Yeah.
I know the first two bands, and that's going to be an incredible show at that point in your life.
What year was that?
97. It was a
Dude,
Tragic
that's
Kingdom tour.
good, No Doubt.
Yeah,
that's
that's-
when
that's-
No Doubt still had offbeats. They were still a ska band that just happened to hit big.
That was Tragic Kingdom. Like they
Yeah.
hadn't done anything else besides Tragic Kingdom at that point, right?
No,
Yeah,
it was
that-
the Tragic Kingdom tour.
Okay.
That was a
Yeah.
big badge of honor for amongst my friends is that before No Doubt hit big, obviously they were a local band out here. So if you look into a lot of the earlier videos, you can see my friends because they did like live stuff. Like back of my friends, we always like pause MTV. We would like record it and pause. Like that's the back of my head. That's the back of my head.
The
Like,
club,
that's-
the club show video was big for those bands, the ska bands, the pop
Yeah.
punk bands. It was the move, right? Yeah, and they
Yeah.
like stage dive.
Oh, and they lost so much of that hardcore when they stopped playing offbeats in their music and they just became a rock band. And it was just like you sellouts.
Yep.
yeah. Wow.
That's back when
You
they were
do
like
gotta-
big with like they had a tie-in with Sublime and stuff too, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's when Gwen was still dating the guitar player.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, you got anything else, Jim?
One more thing too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick. I want to guess his concert there.
Okay,
I
go
was
for it.
praying, even though he said no. I was praying he was going to be New Kids on the Block, but I think it may be like Celine Dion. I'm just taking a swing there. So
Is it Celine Dion?
It's kid appropriate.
It is not Celine Dion.
Okay, so no
damn
New Kids on the Block, no Celine Dion. All right, Jim. Thank you very much for the phone call, man.
Nick did say it was epic.
no
That
problem.
was
Give me a
his
read out.
word.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
Thanks, man.
he did say epic, right? So epic to an 11-year-old in 1992. This is the frame.
Or it's epic now in hindsight, like which some people said Nirvana and he shot down Nirvana, or maybe he didn't say. He did. He shot down Nirvana.
Okay. On the phone line with us right now, speaking of Philadelphia, Jonathan Tannenwald, friend of the program. John, how are you?
I don't know how you got two calls from Philly in a row. That wasn't what I was trying to do by any means.
You're
I got
Philadelphia. That's
I got
what
nothing on the music because I know nothing about music, so I'll get that out of the way. First soccer game is one that you guys both might like, actually. 2000, season opener for DC United at RFK Stadium. First game after they traded Raul Diaz Arce. In came the LA Galaxy with Mauricio Cienfuegos, beat the snot out of DC 4-0
Wow.
in front of 24,000 plus, about 5,000 of which were Salvadorans in the end zone wearing white Galaxy T-shirts with Cienfuegos on the 10 on the back.
Now, John, you'll remember this. That was a time where the Galaxy was an amazing regular season team and an absolutely trash postseason team.
And that was a time when DC United actually won things too, or at least they had prior to that.
Who was the head coach of the LA Galaxy at that point?
Ooh, that might be Carlos Quiroz at that point.
Of the
Not-
Galaxy, I don't know.
Oh
DC
man,
United
No,
might have been what, Rongen at that point?
Wait, hold on. No, you're talking about Galaxy, right?
Either one.
Yeah,
I mean,
look it up.
I said Galaxy. I said Galaxy, but then obviously John would know DC United a little bit better, so he said maybe
Samson
Robert.
did the '98 World Cup team, and then he won with the Galaxy in 2003. So I guess that was too long. I don't think he was the Galaxy for
That
3
wasn't
years.
that wasn't a Siggy team yet, right?
It might have been a Ziggy
Yes, it
team,
was.
actually.
Okay.
Yes, it was.
Okay. Yeah. He was there.
Ziggy's
What,
second year.
he was there like 3 or 4 years before he got canned. When did he get canned? In first place.
99 to the middle of 04.
Okay, so
I
almost
just
5
looked
years.
it up.
All right.
Okay, so Samson came in
And,
in
and
05.
Rongen was the coach of DC.
Oh, Rongen was the coach of DC at that point, having moved from
Yeah.
Tampa to DC. All right.
Jonathan
Yeah.
Tannenwald, man. I love having a call in from Jonathan Tannenwald. Oh, John, you got a guest, though, at 1992 first concert for Nikki Soup and Sausage. Think embarrassing. What's the most embarrassing
got
thing you could
nothing.
be at 92?
Yeah,
I
Nothing.
got nothing at all.
John, find
You can
think
say
of
you
one,
too.
one band that would have been alive in 1992 and throw them out there.
Jeez. Was Fish around then? I genuinely don't know.
Okay, Fish is an interesting choice. We'll just go
Wait,
with-
John's throwing out the fish references. He might be a disc golf partner for me. We can play some doubles here, John.
I just told you I know nothing about music.
No, it's okay. It's all right. John, Anything else you want to share or reminisce about before we?
Yeah, a whole
No,
bunch of
let's-
people. U.S. Soccer got fired today. I want to get your opinion on that.
Okay, so who are we talking about?
I mean, I don't know all the names, but it was out there on Twitter, I don't know, an hour and a half, 2 hours ago, that there were a bunch of firings. Okay, Andy Daff, the New York Times. More than Brian Remedi,
Oh,
who's been around there, who was the interim CEO, and Tanya Wallach, who ran the HR department, and apparently some other people too, all got fired today by U.S. Soccer.
So it's interesting. Like the person that was my HR rep at my company went to U.S. Soccer as their head of HR, and I don't think that name is it. So I wonder if it's transitioned even since she went there then,
Okay.
because I knew the person that went there to be their HR.
What's her name?
I can't recall off the top of my head. It's been a couple of years, but that wasn't it.
okay.
No.
But
Not,
let me just
not
think about
Tanya
this.
Wallach, it's somebody else.
So U.S. Soccer today they announced the closing of the DA, which is a different thing, which we were going to talk about.
Right.
I wasn't aware of these firings. I got busy in the later in the day. I mean, look, you can say maybe it's a matter of performance. Certainly, there's not a lot to point to and say, well, they were doing a great job. We don't. First of all, we don't know the internally. We do know that some of the culture was bad based on all the Glassdoor stuff last year. Obviously, Carlos Cordero resigned because of what was going on in the legal fight with the U.S. women's national team, and you have a new president in Parlo Cone, and you got a new CEO in is it Williams or Wilson? I can't remember which one. What did you say it was, John?
Wilson.
Wilson.
Will
okay.
Wilson.
Yeah. Mr. Wilson down the street from Dennis the Menace. So do you take this as, John, a public clearing of the house for the purposes of showing everybody that they're trying to start fresh, or do you think it's something else?
I don't know. I made a couple calls around after I saw it, and I haven't really been able to get my head around the whole thing. Remedi's salary was a big number, and that might have been part of it.
Well, you said
but-
he was also acting CEO. So as soon as they hire Wilson, you've got a guy who was formerly in the job, even on an interim basis. You kind of get now you're kind of putting yourself in a position where there may be a power struggle on some level, or at least just some hurt feelings and not everybody getting along.
Maybe. I mean, his previous title was Chief Administrative Officer, which was basically, the sheriff of all the things behind the scenes. And below Jay Berhalter in that regard, although I don't think he was quite in Jay Berhalter's part of the org chart, as it were.
Well, you would assume that the head
Remedi has
of
been
HR John, you would have assumed the head of HR is going to report to the chief administrative officer as well. I mean, that seems like the direct line of most org charts I've ever seen. Those two things are usually lined up together. So
I had that at one point, and I don't know whether I have it at the moment. That would take. I actually have the org chart because they published it at one point. It would take me a while to dig out of my email, so I'm not going to bother.
This is the opportunity to
culturally, Wallach is the big one.
Yeah,
Right.
And here's the thing too, and you get the chance to kind of bury this a bit too. Like it gets a chance to. There's so many people losing jobs and stuff like that right now. And granted, we're hearing that this is firings, not furloughs. So it's not like, hey, these people are coming back in just short time. It's not like it's part or connected to everything else that's going on. But you get a chance to kind of sweep this a little bit because there's so much of this going on out there, and if people don't question you on your terminology and your phrasing, and if you're not having press conferences to kind of announce this kind of stuff, then you get the chance to kind of sweep this under the rug. But if you're going to make a move, and people have been angry at this top level of U.S. soccer for a long time, make the move. You've got so many big pieces being changed up top. You might as well just burn the thing down.
Look, this is. Look, as signaling goes, this is fine from that perspective. I mean, for me, I'm not saying I wish anybody loses their job, especially now. But if you're talking about an organization that has made mess after mess after mess and is embroiled in all kinds of lawsuits and has lost the faith of all the fans, even the U.S. women's national team fans at this point, because of the fight with that group, then why not clear house? Why not say, and obviously Wilson, the timing of Wilson's hiring and the announcement of that gives them an opportunity to do this, to say, all right, all of this sucked, clear it all out, we'll start again.
With one exception. And I'm not saying that I disagree with the moves made today. This is just something that I've heard talking to people for a long time, going all the way back to when Sunil departed. Remedi was pretty good at some of the diplomatic stuff that you have to have a little bit of institutional memory for to go outside of U.S. soccer when you're dealing with things at CONCACAF and other international relations.
Okay.
And the question is whether you want to throw all of that out. And maybe you do.
Well,
But
look,
that's the
obviously,
question.
look, Dan Flynn was a veteran of all the wars. Jay Berhalter knew his way around all of those things from his time in the job and around soccer in this part of the world. So, yeah, they're going to fill that job, or they're going to bring somebody else in. Maybe they're bringing somebody else in who has that knowledge but isn't necessarily a U.S. soccer veteran. I don't know who that is, John. I'm not saying I have a bunch of candidates for that, but clearly they're trying to hit the reset button. But as you said, yeah, there's some danger there for sure.
And I don't know yet, because this all just happened, and it wasn't formally announced, by the way. The word went around, but there hasn't been any kind of formal announcement, and I'm not sure there will be, because these are not major high-profile figures within U.S. soccer, in fact. They've sort of become them because of the lawsuit and everybody going through everybody who works there.
Right.
But Remedi and Wallach are not high-profile public figures in the same way that, say, Jay Berhalter was.
Sure. If you
I don't know what the org chart's going to be.
Yeah. Well, clearly it's getting
I don't know what the positions are going to be.
Yeah, you do make a good point here. Only the nerds, only us, only people who are constantly harping on it, only people in the media, or only a certain group of people would actually care about the head of HR and a guy like Remedi getting fired from U.S. soccer if it does represent anything on that front. I mean, you could argue that it's a little bit too late on Wallach because of the Glassdoor stuff in the first place, John. I mean, if you were going to do anything to change the culture of U.S. soccer, do it then when things were clearly on fire. You've let it all smolder out and the embers are still there, and fine, clear them away, but how much damage has been done?
Well, I think the folks who were around at that time thought that they were going to be able to sweep it all under the rug and not get caught, and they got caught. So
they got caught.
Yes. Well, the Glassdoor.
I want to clarify something. Sorry, go ahead.
The Glassdoor reviews are going to be different now at U.S. Soccer.
Well, you hope, right?
That's one of the reasons you do this.
You hope so. You hope so, because they've sure cleared out a whole lot of people at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to clarify something earlier. You were talking about who might sort of be the person who replaces, who fills the job that Brian Remedi had of Chief Administrative Officer is the official title. Mm-hmm. I don't know that job's going to continue to exist as such.
Not every organization has that title.
Maybe that
title.
Well, sure, fine, but I just think about, the last time the org chart, quote unquote, got done was a couple of years ago, and maybe with a new CEO and a new president, they decide, hey, there are certain positions that we don't need, and there are certain positions that we don't have that we do need. So I don't know what it's going to look like.
That's kind of funny. It kind of makes me chuckle, considering all the stuff they just did with Ernie Stewart being the general manager, getting kicked up to another job. They they open that spot up. Now Brian McBride is the general manager of the national team. I have no real problem with, but I'm just saying they just went through this whole thing where they're creating all these new jobs and they're changing the org chart completely. I mean, I just remember reading a revised organizational chart like a year ago, John, and now here they go fire everybody else and they might be starting over again. And I think one thing to be said for soccer fans, for people who are nerdy enough to know what's going on with the Fed and who want to see improvement, is part of the problem we just had was Jay Berhalter was alleged to have been involved in soccer stuff, even though he was on the business side. And they have to build those firewalls so that we as fans can trust that the people involved in the money aren't necessarily involved in making decisions on the soccer end, at least in terms of technical soccer matters.
Sure. And there are still, and I don't know the full extent of everybody who lost their jobs today. I reached out to a couple of people who I know personally, and they're all still there. But I don't know the full extent of it yet. There are definitely people on the soccer side who are not named Ernie Stewart, Greg Berhalter, or Brian McBride, or Kate Markgraf, or Vlatko Antonowski, who have a lot of power, who are not publicly accountable. And I don't know what happens to them now with the whole thing getting turned over. But if anybody wants to still look, all right. So I've been waiting to say this for a while, so I'll say it now. All four of us know that some people are not going to be satisfied with calling anything a house cleaning until Rocco Camiso replaces Don Garber on the board of directors, right?
But that's fringe. Come on, John. You know that's fringe. I mean, I like Rocco as a boat rocker, as a figure in American soccer to push people. But come on, there's not a movement. People aren't marching in the streets with pitchforks and torches calling for Rocco Camiso to replace Don Garber on the board and turn over.
Well, they're certainly calling for Garber to be out of it.
Well, that conflict is a problem for some people. Yes.
I don't like it. I've never said I liked it. Mm-hmm. I have said that I think he wants women's soccer to succeed more than people are willing to give him credit for, but that doesn't mean I like all of the cross influences and so on.
Everything about Don Garber, and we've all talked to him and seen him perform enough, and I'm going to call it that. Everything, while Don Garber has his opinions, and he definitely drives some of the policy at Major League Soccer and at U.S. Soccer as a representative of MLS, as a board member, the guy he's an employee of the MLS owners. You know, he's doing the job that they ask him to do. So if you want to say he wants women's soccer to succeed more than people give him credit for, does that matter if what the Major League Soccer owners want isn't how Don Garber actually behaves, acts, talks in public?
No, well, yes, but this is more my point, I think, which is that if people wanted a house cleaning, right? And I think the house has been cleaned pretty thoroughly. Doesn't mean the whole thing has been completely burned down. But I think that the house has been cleaned fairly thoroughly right now, and that we ought to give the new folks a bit of a shot to see what they can do.
I agree with that. And John, I'm going to let you go on that note because we got some other people waiting.
Before John goes, just one thing for me.
Okay.
U.S. Soccer the way I see it, U.S. Soccer's got more positions than the Kama Sutra. And just like that book, I don't understand how half of them work.
Damn, dog, that's an approach.
Okay. All right. Have you tried? I mean, I don't know if you've tried everything.
Dude, some of them, I'm just not physically
That's yoga. You got to do the yoga first as an entry. You can't go straight to 60 miles an hour. You have to build your way up, man. I mean, I'm not saying I'm trying.
I'm not saying that. I'm nowhere near any of that, but go ahead.
You're not very bendy, John?
No. You guys know me well enough. I'm not at all.
All right, John, thanks for calling in, buddy.
Thanks for the time, John. Appreciate it.
Pleasure, fellas. Thanks for being around.
Jonathan Tannenwald, longtime friend of the program. Before I got Frank in Orange County who wants to get in here, and I do want to get to it. But before we do that, this is an appropriate place to mention, with all this U.S. soccer talk, that the Development Academy is dead. They killed the DA. Now, this show is about MLS, the national team, and the NWSL, and the women's national team, and top-level professional soccer. Most of the time, that's what we're about. If we talk about the DA, it's because we care about the DA developing players that will then represent the national team, which will then help us one day win a World Cup, because that's everybody's dream, right? If we talk about the DA, it's in that context. But I will say that U.S. Soccer killing the DA is kind of a wild move. Now, apparently it's financial related. They don't think it's worth the cost. It's a money thing. It's a drain on the Fed. But they got involved. They mucked about. And U.S. Soccer is a friggin' hornet's nest, Jared. You know this, right? You stick your nose in that thing and you get what you deserve. And they did that. Now they're walking away.
Listen, I got to take on this. It's going to take us to a whole new, a bit larger conversation. Let's see what my man Orange County's got first. Then we can get into that and take it broad.
All right. Frank in OC, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, guys?
You want to get in on that no doubt talk?
Yeah. Are you a no doubt head? Are you? I don't know what they call themselves. No doubters.
Outside of Gwen Stefani, I don't know, man. It's been a while.
I'll be curious to know. Okay, so Frank was going to tell us his first concert. Frank, tell us how you rolled back in the day.
Let's see. Okay, so you're gonna laugh at me, but
that's all right.
I did this for a girl. All right.
Ooh,
We all
My
did.
first
Hey, you know
concert was
understandable.
my first concert was to a Jonas Brothers concert.
Yeah.
I was like one of maybe 5 guys there, like all females, and I felt kind of awkward because like I was like in like the second line,
Yeah, but
so
you gotta
like I
like
could
your
see them
odds,
right
dude.
there.
You know, I just remembered
Yeah.
something.
I mean,
Frank, hold on a second. I just remembered that before
Oh.
I went to college, before I went to the shows I mentioned,
Oh,
in high school, there was a festival. One of the radio stations had a festival. That radio station is dead, by the way. R.I.P. WHFS in DC. DC people know. They were like the alt rock station. They had a festival every year. I'm trying to think. I think Long Beach Dub All Stars were there, maybe on a side stage.
so
They were-
Sublime. Okay.
yeah. I can't remember who the headliners were.
311 or something like that. If you're doing Long Beach Dub All Stars.
No, they were on a side stage. Like I said, festival situation.
Give me about a year.
On the main, this is like 97, 96. On the
Okay.
main stage, I do recall Run DMC coming out and it not necessarily being a build situation.
Try to up your rank.
By the way, I'm wearing a shirt, Run 90 Plus. I really do think, I remember them being there. I'm not saying that was the first band I saw at the festival. I'm just telling you they were there because I remember.
It's like, yeah, and then it was weird. It was like the show was in a basement, and then Aerosmith hit down a wall, and they were there.
It was not even like, it wasn't Prime Run. I wasn't old enough for Prime Run DMC. I'm talking about like 10 years after their peak, man. So
You're not alone though. When I was in college, Jason, Run DMC came to Bowling Green for a concert. I went to it, and
in '92,
definitely not in '92. And their opening act was The Roots.
yeah, if you saw the Roots, I'm jealous. That's great. That's
It was
fantastic.
awesome.
Roots toured with Beastie Boys on the Ill Communication tour.
That's a good band to see live, and guys who really know what to do. All right, Frank, that's your first concert, Jonas. But we're not going to hold that against you, okay?
Man, it's all for the loving.
I'm going to give you a pass on that. What about your
well,
soccer?
I got loving.
Hold on a second. Wait. I gotta give me one of those for
Frank Rodius.
Yeah. He doesn't. Wait, Frank gets a roadie. Oh, you want to hand it out? All right, you handed it out. That's your props.
Nice.
Right? That's your props right there. Go ahead.
I've only been waiting a few years.
What do you have for
All
soccer?
right. Okay. I don't remember the exact year, but I do remember it was the Galaxy against the Crew at the Rose Bowl.
Woo.
Let's see. I don't remember the score line, but I do remember we call him El Matador, Luis Fernandez.
Yeah.
I remember Alexi Lala, Cienfuegos.
That may have been 98, 99, somewhere right in there, I think, because they went to HDC at 2001. So I think it's 98, 99, somewhere right in there. So you probably saw
I think HDC was 03, but go ahead.
Okay, but you probably saw like Stern John play. Like
Yeah,
who
maybe,
else? Cummings, was he on to Columbus still then?
Was Brian McBride there still? 90s?
Might be.
Yeah, he would have been. Brian McBride would have been a Columbus Crew player.
After 2002, right? After the World Cup, that's when he went to Europe.
Yep.
That's a good match, man.
Do you have a guess on Nikki Super?
Yeah, I mean, okay, so can I get two, and like you can kind of tell me like which way it kind of goes?
Like by facial expression. Like, what do you want? What is this? 20 questions? I don't know what you're asking, Frank.
Okay.
He wants to see which one's warmer.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say crisscross.
That was my joke.
In 92.
But Nikki Soup and Sausage, go ahead, give us your take here or your response.
I did not see Crisscross.
Okay.
Sorry.
Do we give Frank another guess?
I mean, if it's a completely different direction, no. Nick's saying no. His game.
Yeah,
Nick's saying no.
No,
All right.
sorry, Frank.
Sorry, Frank. Sorry, you're out, man.
Here's what I'm
right,
thinking.
man. Well,
I think he got too close to the sun. Nick got scared.
You think that's what it was? So what are you thinking about? Like young? I had to drop Frank. So what?
It was ABC.
ABC would be the logical place to go with that.
Wait, was another bad creation? Was 92 too early for another bad creation?
No, definitely not too early for another bad creation.
When was the East Coast Family started out there? I don't
Aisha's
remember.
a good song. Spider-Man's a good song.
On
Don't
the
think about Spider-Man.
playground. I still maintain On the Playground and Aisha are the same song.
They're basically the same song. Yeah. There was that Jermaine Dupri on the production for those, or it was
It might be,
no,
and I
Michael
think
Bivins.
the videos were actually shot at the same time. They just cut it differently. I think it's the same footage.
I'm trying to. Okay, so Crisscross was definitely Jermaine Dupri. No, I'm wrong because that was that ABC was Michael Bivins because that Boyz II Men came up right around the same time and they were all in the same crew together.
Oh, what if he saw Bill Biv DeVoe?
That would be incredible. No, way too saucy for 11-year-old Nikki Soup and Sauce. No way.
Maybe his mom likes a big butt and a smile.
You might as well stay 2 Live Crew. Like I don't think that was happening. I think that was
okay. All right, that's all right. All right, so you want our development academy? All right, so
well, no, I just people have asked me for my opinion on this, and all I said is like U.S. Soccer walked in. They walked into like I'm trying to think of the right analogy here, right? They walked. Look, there was already a rabble. It was already a feisty situation, and U.S. Soccer walked in and said, "We got the solution. Buy our monorail." And then when the thing broke down or cost too much money, they walked out the door and left everybody else to deal with the mess. And it's especially true on the girls' side.
Also, should they keep pumping money into something if it's not working?
No, no, not necessarily. But I think it's
so. You worried that we're going to lose a small generation of youngsters that were committed to this, and then the system like backed out?
No.
What's the big risk in this?
Well, I'm not necessarily the youth soccer expert to tell you how it really is going to affect kids on the ground. Okay, I'll say that right now.
Me either. I mean, you know more about little boys than I do, but
no. That you're not allowed to do that.
You have a 12-year-old.
You have 2 young children.
And/or hello.
Closer, mine's 10.
But they both have the parts. I don't know what you're trying to do to me.
By the way, I wanted to put an Instagram story up today. Your son has like the bass guy from Boyz II Men's voice.
My kid has a deep voice.
Cane, you know the guy that had the vanity cane?
Yeah. He's already there. Yeah, he answers the phone. You're like, damn, who's this? He's like, it's Ethan. That's the kid whose voice is in the opening of the show, by the way.
Yeah, by the way, yeah. That's him way back in there. You need to have him do it. You need to have him do the exact same lines now and see what it sounds like.
Embarrassed. He won't do it. I've tried.
Oh God.
So my thing about you're right to a point that if they're gonna get out, might as well get out. Like just get out. Like don't even mess around. Don't fake it. Don't say, well, we're gonna find a way to transition. Just get out. Okay.
They got to take it to the next level. If you're gonna get out, you need to redo this whole thing and be like, hey, federal government can't do this. You can't even do it at the state level. Like we need to just get rid of the districting of like MLS teams. Like if you're born in this area code, you go to this. Just get rid of it all. It's fair game. Everyone's fair game. If a parent wants to put a kid in that youth club system, that's where they go.
No, that's something that needs to happen. Major League Soccer needs to do that. By the way, Major League Soccer, in response to U.S. Soccer shutting down the Development Academy, and if you talk to people, they'll tell you part of the reason for the DA to be shut down on the boys' side is that MLS didn't think the level was good enough for their clubs, and they wanted to be on their own. So now there's going to be an MLS-led sort of, academy league. So MLS is going to put their elite kids against one another for a higher level, which is fine. But again, it just means that a large group of players are now separated from the top level in this country. And how many kids are getting into MLS academies? You're right. They need to open things up.
Is that the first time in our lifetime, though, that there won't have been something like this going on? Because, like, even when I was growing up, you had ODP. You had the Olympic Development Program. You had these guys. But when I was growing up, like Dunny and Ramondo in my neighborhoods, everyone knew that those guys were in ODP. And, like, there was always something out there. And, like, there was the conflict between playing for high school or playing for these things. And you have Bradenton after that, and you have all these different formations. Like, obviously there'll still be U16 teams, U17 teams, those kind of things. But
the teams don't go anywhere. Just who they're playing against and who organizes the league that they play in is the issue here. This may ultimately be better in some level, but it just so U.S. Soccer again getting involved in youth soccer. And they've been sued in the past when they've tried to put their hand down and actually do something in youth soccer. They've been sued by the AYSO and by U.S. Club Soccer, and they lost. And then they kind of, instead of just kind of letting those organizations do it and and have an independent arm that maybe is involved, somebody who separates from U.S. Soccer but is within the ideas of U.S. Soccer. They tried to heavy hand this thing, and obviously didn't work out. And again, we're reaching the extent of my expertise on this. All I'm going to say is, again, to reiterate, on the boys' side, okay, whatever. You messed around. It didn't work out. Maybe you got some players out of it. I don't know. On the girls' side, the ECNL already existed. It was basically the elite level league for academy players in the country and for club players in the country. U.S. Soccer came in and said, well, I guess to be equitable, we should have a DA for girls too. Nobody really wanted it. And then they sucked up some clubs. They forced all those kids to choose.
I'm sure that there's young girls out there that wanted it.
No. But your club goes to DA. You don't have a choice. And also the DA rules required players to choose between club and high school. They couldn't do both. So you're pushing a lot of kids away from their high schools if they want to play DA or vice versa.
And listen, neither one of us has a PhD in this and knows enough about it to really make this call. But 5 years from now, are you looking at a stronger youth level in America or a weaker one as a result of this?
I have absolutely no idea. I have no idea. How can I possibly say?
Here's what I think. I think if they're going to go this way, I think U.S. Soccer actually has to increase its scouting, not decrease it if they go this direction. Because you're going to have to go deeper and wider to get this, because you're not going to identify and bring them in and give them more reps and more touches than every other kid in America.
This, again, is a membership thing, right? So U.S. Soccer said, and by the way, they had already created 2 levels with the MLS clubs complaining. They'd already created 2 levels in the DA, red and blue, and you had to be a certain, if you were MLS clubs were all in one level, and some of the elite clubs in the country got left in the second level, and they were upset. So, but if U.S. Soccer rather is going to pull out of this, and now those players, this was a membership situation, MLS clubs, elite level youth clubs. If they're going to say, okay, well, now we don't have a funnel to U.S. Soccer to pick kids for national teams, to bring kids into camps, that kind of thing. Now we don't have a group of clubs that we can look at who are working with us and say, those are the kids we need to look at. You do have to cast your net wider. And if they use the money that they're saving on not running the DA, on hiring more scouts and doing a better job of finding that talent, then okay, then maybe we're better off, Jerry. Maybe that's the issue.
And here's the thing too. If you look at the last 30 years of the Development Academy and all the different iterations that it's had, using the Development Academy loosely, I understand it wasn't always that, but in the versions of it that have been out there, Bradenton, going back to when before MLS, where all these guys were camping like the women's national team was between leagues, where the guys were just brought in, that was their job, was to play for the national team. From that point to now, there's only really one class and generation that stands out that this thing worked.
Sure.
And it was 20 years ago.
Yeah, but okay. There's a lot of complexities here. I don't think we have time to get into. I do want to get to Brian in Georgia, who has a guess for Nick's concert. I don't know if Brian's got Byron, excuse me. Not Brian. Byron, what's up?
Hey, guys. Well, first I'll tell you my concerts. I put them in the chat, but I saw Eddie Money on a high school field trip in 1989. That was a good concert. And
man, was it on the weekend? Or
yeah,
we
had some Russian exchange students because the wall had just come down, and the band that opened for Eddie Money was called Stas Namen. It was a Russian band, so we took the kids to the concert. So it was like an American experience for them.
Wait, what year was this?
It was fun. 1989.
1989. Damn. Dude, Eddie Money in 1989. Yeah, that was...
All came down, took him to see some guy in bleached acid wash jeans. That's awesome, dude.
What's your guess for Nick's first concert, Byron?
Well, it's off the wall. I graduated in 92, and I saw Metallica in 92.
You know what? That's a good guess. Nick?
I did not see Metallica.
Okay, so it is not. Was that sellout period Metallica, or was that a little earlier?
Come on, dude. Just because they made a successful album.
I don't like Metallica that much. You're not gonna get me.
Sandman. It was the Black Album.
Black Album. Yeah.
Okay. Black. That was peak Metallica.
Which is a good album, but just because they put more melody, all of a sudden they're a sellout.
I have a guess. Damn, can I guess again or no? Am I out?
I don't know. Next game.
Did you officially make a guess?
I thought I did.
Doing one. I think Kid and Play was a joke one to you. I'm not Kid and Play, but Chris Cross was a joke one to you.
All right, I got a guess. Not in the same area necessarily, but I do have a guess. You ready?
Do it.
Red Hot Chili Peppers. That's my guess.
That was said in the chat.
Okay.
I did not see Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Under
I
the
don't know if we're giving him too much cred or not enough cred.
Under the Bridge was my jam when I was in 6th grade. Had no idea what that song was about. Absolutely none. Just sang the song because I liked it. Yeah.
Byron, you got a first soccer game, first professional game you went to?
Yeah, it was Atlanta Silverbacks. I think it was 2006.
Okay, that's some cred there. The old school minor league soccer in Atlanta, Georgia. Okay. Was this
Yeah,
was
my first pro game was the Galaxy.
Okay, I was gonna say this. Wait, what? Your
Well,
first
because they're semi-pro, right? Get Silverbacks back then.
Yeah, Silverbacks in 06 and then LA Galaxy in 2014.
Okay. I was gonna say,
is that A League? Is 2006 A League?
USL by then, maybe.
I think myself A League at that point, dude.
I was just I just did an interview with Pat Onstad about the Rochester
Rhinos
when they won the US
best kits in America for a couple years, and no one knew it.
Yeah, but they were in the A League for sure. We should go back to the A League. I don't know why. Well, all right, Byron, you got anything else, man?
Just one thing. I kind of agree with Jared about the DA going away. We definitely need to cast our net wider. There's a lot of talent in this country. I think the clubs do a great job out there of grooming their own talent. The DA was just a bunch of politics anyway. I know there's great players out there. We just got to find them.
Okay. I mean, I don't.
Here's the thing that we got to fix the sell-on part. Then that's the thing that isn't it.
About 8 steps removed from just kids getting a chance to be seen and like
that's real nice and all. That's great and all, but the clubs don't have the money to do it if they don't have the money for the infrastructure to put the whole thing on.
No. So again, the DA is literally just a league, right? Run by the federation, a league of clubs. So the Ontario, whatever the top youth club is in Ontario, California, can join the DA if they're good enough, if they're a high enough quality. That's all that is. All the MLS clubs were in the DA because it was the elite level of quality youth soccer at certain age groups. That's all it is.
What I'm saying though is, wasn't U.S. Soccer paying for all the travel of that and everything to bring these teams together?
Don't know how much. I'm sure there was some subsidy there, but
I'm just saying you've got to find a way. This money's not going to come from nowhere. These teams still have to play someone. Now, granted, maybe they start playing their local high-level club teams instead of playing other MLS development academies, and that could be a good thing as well. I don't know, but that's also the reason why you're going to have to start doing more scouting on the U.S. soccer side, because you're going to go into more of these niches to see these games. You're not going to have these things on a platter for you.
That's the only thing I can. I mean, that's obviously one result of this that could actually help. Now, okay.
and for example, like LA Galaxy right now, Giannis is sitting going up to the first team in Wolfsburg and got zero money for that. Zero money for that.
That's on MLS to go after training compensation, which they've already reversed themselves on.
I'm saying if we're going to have a development conversation, it needs to be a whole development conversation. This is the time. Just like if you're going to get rid of the president of U.S. Soccer, burn the place down right now while you have the chance.
Something after you president, and then you didn't, and I was very sad for a moment. I thought you were going to go in a different direction with that.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Very hopeful for a moment. All right,
I got told we were too political today.
Yeah. No, you had said it was said that I was the political one. And
that's right.
Which is what it is. I guess
I'm not refined enough to be political. I'm just a loudmouth.
All right. Before we run out of time, and we happily are, and we're going to do a bonus show tonight too, so be on the lookout for that, all you Patreon people. I got to talk about Sepp Blatter. I got to talk about Seppy B over there in Switzerland.
I'd rather talk about any other person's bladder.
Do you think that he's like living it up? Do you think he's got like a compound? What's his situation?
Yes, and I think there is a panic room because one day they're going to come for him again because they're going to find something out. But here's the thing: this guy's out here today saying America could still host the World Cup. Actually, it's probably some weird accent I can't.
No. He's like, yeah. I'm not.
America still has the chance to
do it, but this World
Cup.
I'm not going to try. I was going to say is that Sepp Blatter. Okay. Sepp Blatter has nothing to do with nothing anymore, right? He's just the guy that used to be president for a long time. Don't get me wrong. He was powerful, but he's just a guy. Now he's saying that based on the fact that the pandemic is happening and that now it's been said or been disclosed that Russia and Qatar definitely paid people off to win
under his watch.
Under his watch. Yeah, by the way, under his watch, that it could be taken away from them. He has said, Germany could do it, meaning hosting the 2022 World Cup, but this would mean the World Cup being staged in Europe again after 2018. Europe, therefore, would not be first choice. He has nothing to do with nothing. Then he said, the United States could do it instead of 2026. They are capable. It's not rocket science. Japan could also do it. They also bid to host the 2022 World Cup. This is like encouraging uncle energy. This is like, when your uncle doesn't have any stake in whether you do well in school. All he is your dad's brother or your whatever, and he's like, yeah, you could totally be a rocket scientist. You could totally play Major League Baseball, kid. Don't worry about it. Yeah, you could just get out there and try your best.
No. This is worse than that. This is that family member that just got an AA telling you why you need to stay off of like alcohol and drug. Like, consider the source on this.
Yeah.
Listen, if he was had interest in doing the right thing, he would have done it at any point in the last 25 years. He didn't. This is him playing damage control and trying to get good headlines out of something that he has nothing to get connected with.
He doesn't care about that part. I don't think he cares at all about that.
Someone shoved a cell phone between him and two inappropriately aged French girls today, and this is what he said. And I don't care. I don't give a crap about this dude.
No. Nobody should. Nobody should listen to this at all. It means nothing, right?
And if you're America, why would we want to throw a improv 1 year 1 year of planning World Cup in the middle of a terrible situation where no one wants to be next to each other?
Yeah.
And like 2 years from now, we're still going to be thinking about all this.
I don't know what that means.
This is the World Cup no one's going to want. Just let's be honest. This is the World Cup that literally no one wants to touch.
People are
for
going to be
many reasons. One of them being disease.
Yeah, let's go to the desert and stay away from each other. And that's the.
Well, I don't know if you heard this or not. COVID-19 can't live in the heat. That's what I'm hearing these days. So let's take it to Qatar where it's really hot. That'll solve the whole problem.
Okay, yeah. I mean, obviously,
it's gonna be played in the winter where it's not as hot.
Yeah, barely. It's like 10 degrees cooler.
Well, they invented air conditioning for the stadiums, right?
By the way, look, I hate to be first world problem guy. Okay, I know I'm privileged. I guess we all are based on the World Cup schedule for the last 80 years, however long it's been played. But damn it, son, you're going to play the World Cup in November and leading into Christmas time? Like I'm going to be able to pull myself away and give myself.
Why don't you go back to someplace like South Africa and do it again there? Because guess what? They got a bunch of stadiums that you built in the middle of ghettos that are just sitting there with nothing happening to them right now instead of investing in the infrastructure around these stadiums.
Yeah. There's a stadium in the middle of the jungle in Brazil, I think in Manaus, right? Where the United States played in Manaus, right?
Yes.
And it's like doing nothing. There's nothing there.
Why don't we go do a world tour and every group plays in a stadium that is doing nothing from the last 3 World Cups, and Group A is in Manaus, Group B is somewhere in Cape Town or one of the outsides of like go do a revisiting of all these places that FIFA screwed along the way.
Manaus, that stadium in Manaus is like life after people at this point. Like I think there are whole ecosystems within the confines of that.
Just a ridiculous amount of money wasted. And Sepp Blatter is part of the people responsible, so he can shut the F up.
Sean Connery running around this field looking for the cure to a disease. Have you seen that movie?
2026, man. Give me 2020. Wait, what are you talking about? Omega Man?
Medicine Man. I was talking about Medicine Man with Sean Connery.
For some reason, I thought Charlton Heston when you said Sean Connery.
No. What I was going to say, obviously, you talked about the World Cup. Maybe nobody wants the 2022 World Cup, and we know what's going to happen. This is the time when we go fully virtual, and this is now like we get headsets, or we get chip implants, and they can beam us into the stadium, and we're basically sitting there watching the game, except we're not in the building.
We need to host a 2022, and I tell you why. The reason we need to host 2022 is because we may not make it otherwise. Sure bid. I would you bet on making the World Cup with the roster you have right now for 2022, or where you think our youth and system, where these guys that are 16 now can be in 2026?
I'm going to say it. Okay, we're going to qualify.
That's not what I asked you. That's the coward's way. Don't take the coward's way out.
I mean, 2022, we're going to qualify.
Do you think we have a better chance of qualifying in 2022 or 2026?
Well, I don't know what 2026 is going to deliver in terms of I know
you're going to play. It's likely that we may play qualification games in empty stadiums.
Okay, sure. You think that hurts us or helps us? Because we can go to the Azteca and play in an empty stadium. I'm good with that.
Away, it helps us. At home, I don't think it does. But yeah, away, it helps us.
Like we got the home field advantage anywhere anyway. Come on.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like not having stadium, even here, I don't think it helps or hurts us being it here. It's a neutral ground for us.
And I'm saying we're a lock for 2020.
But listen, if we're gonna play empty stadiums away, then bring Timmy Chandler back because that guy might be able to play.
Still hot in Honduras, man. It doesn't get cooler just because there's nobody in the building. All right, we should wrap this and get ready for some other things happening this evening. Is there anything we missed? Anything we didn't? I mean, we obviously got to get an answer here.
Oh. Or do we make him stay on the bonus show? No, which that's messed up.
No, we can't do that. We can't hold it over. All right, so this is what we need to do.
Can we just reel it in? Can we start giving answers and he tells us warmer or colder till we get to it?
Oh, yeah, I think that's the move. Either we got to get some clues or he's got to walk us.
You and I pick two different genres right now. I'll go like rock, you go like hip hop or something, or like you want to go pop.
I think pop is the better move. I'm just trying to think of.
I'll go rock. All right, I'm gonna go Aerosmith.
Okay, Aerosmith. I'm gonna say Michael Jackson.
Who's warmer? Who's colder?
Jason is warmer.
Ooh,
okay.
Okay.
All right.
Do you want clues?
Huh?
Well, let's play this just for a second. Let's do this for a second.
Okay,
Let's just see
I have another guess based on Michael Jackson. I have another guess. Jared, do you want to follow me on this?
No, go ahead.
Okay, my next guess is Prince.
That is not correct.
I'm gonna go Michael Bolton.
That is not correct.
You don't have to lie.
For Michael Bolton.
And I'm gonna go Richard Marx.
Okay. That is also not correct.
Okay, now I feel like you're just trolling.
Peter Cicada.
Take this here. Who'd you say?
Was it Peter Cicada or Cicada?
Satara.
Satara. The guy that did the
Cicada.
Karate Kid song.
Let's see.
That's true, right?
He's already said Michael Jackson was closer than Aerosmith, so I can't go with like Bon Jovi. That's definitely not right. So where are we going here, Jared? Help me out. Michael Jackson, or in that direction anyway.
Okay, well, hold on. That you're just assuming it's a single act. It could just been closer because you were okay.
I don't know.
Can I give you a clue?
Go ahead.
There were two opening acts as well that were huge.
Two huge opening acts in 90. Is this like
maybe not at the time, but they became huge.
Okay, they became huge.
Became huge in 90.
So it could be a festival. It could be like Lollapalooza.
It was not a festival.
Okay,
not a festival.
I can tell you that the concert was at Kings Island.
What's that?
Amusement park.
It's an amusement park.
Wow.
Oh, wait a second.
So this is a clue because this means somebody's on the back end of their career. This is not a big time band.
Boyz II Men?
We said Boyz II Men, right?
No, we
did
didn't.
not say Boyz II Men.
Boyz II Men.
Boyz II Men was an opening act.
Oh, Belle Biv DeVoe. Is it Belle Biv DeVoe?
By the way, Boyz II Men was the second build.
Okay,
Wait.
Belle Biv DeVoe is a good guess. Is it Belle Biv DeVoe?
It was not Belle Biv DeVoe.
That's not too early for.
Okay, what about Bobby Brown?
Ooh.
You're getting warmer, but it was not Bobby Brown.
Ooh, Keith.
Keith Sweat? No. Is that where you're gonna go? Where were you gonna go?
Or Roger. What was the other guy from New? Oh, wait, is it New Edition? No, New Edition was they're already broken
Johnny
up by
Gill?
then.
I'm not gonna go Johnny Gill.
Bobby Gill. Oh no, yeah, Gill. Yeah,
Johnny Gill.
Johnny Gill.
No.
This is the wrong move. I think you're going in the wrong direction here.
Can I tell you the opening act?
Yes.
Yeah.
The opening act was TLC.
TLC.
Salt and Pepper.
Salt
They
and
had
pepper.
just
Salt and
no.
pepper.
I'll give you the hint. Another hint. The main headliner was a male artist.
Male artist.
All right, so it's not Bobby Brown. It's not Johnny Gill. Not Michael Jackson. Not Prince. Who else would be in that same realm that have Boyz II Men opening for them? It's male. God, I almost thought Whitney Houston, but it has to be a man. Dang it! Who else is in that level?
Right.
At that time in '92.
Well, like I said, it's got to be back. It's got to be back. I know Kings Island is a big amusement park, but if you're huge right then, aren't you playing stadiums or arenas? You're not playing amusement parks, right?
Oh man, the chat's throwing a butt. Oh, the chat's putting Brian McKnight. That can't be Brian McKnight.
Not Brian McKnight.
No.
What's crazy about that concert is Boyz II Men at that time. This is right when End of the Road came out, and that was like their huge hit.
Yeah,
They were huge, and they were the second build act.
Okay, I want another clue. What was the peak year for this act? What was their peak year?
Were they beyond it at this point, or were they in it?
I don't believe they were beyond it.
Okay.
I want to say they were massive. They
I
were
have a-
massive early 90s, which again was only 2 years before that.
Have a guess.
What?
MC Hammer.
You are correct.
Oh,
You can't
I was
touch
so
this,
close
Jared.
to Vanilla Ice. I was
You
so
were.
close to Vanilla Ice. My
Yes.
very first guess was so close to the right thing.
TLC Boys to
I was
Men.
on the right track.
That's really good.
CNC Music Factory there too.
No. But I was 11 years old with my mom and my sister, who was 2 years younger than me, so she would have been 9.
Parachute pants.
And I couldn't tell you or remember anything about that concert specifically, but the fact that I know I was there. So, yeah.
I can tell you one thing you know for sure. You were too legit to quit.
That may have been out by then because it was 89 or
89. Yeah, I think when
We Can't Touch This came out.
no, Please Hammer Don't Hurt Him, right? Wasn't that the first one?
First album, yeah. And I definitely had it on tape, and I did listen to the hell out of that album. The hell out of it. The whole
I feel like I stole that from him, man.
Oh yeah. By the way, there's a whole complicated reason why You Can't Touch This didn't go number 1. It has to do with the charts and everything. I can't get into it, but it's interesting.
Man, that feels so good knowing that. But God, I can't believe I hit my very first one. It's like when you don't hit the actual bullseye and you hit that bullseye right outside the bullseye.
Well, you Jared, always bet on black, right? Why did you go with Vanilla Ice? Like,
Look at this guy over here. That's the whitest dude ever.
Oh, man.
yeah, go watch.
The guy has a chicken nugget eating video.
All right, we gotta run. We gotta run. We gotta go. We gotta
Only
get.
thing whiter would be if his YouTube channel had a mayo taste test.
We gotta bounce. Let's go. Let's go. We got a piece, Jerry. We gotta go. Any other patreon.com/JD and the Rod. Shout out to the new arrivals. I think we just had Ben sign up. We're gonna talk to one of the recent new Patreon subscribers on the bonus show, Ty Shelter. That's gonna be cool. YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, JD and the Rod. For all of those.
Instagram, we did. If you follow us on Instagram, so you get notified when we did like a 15-minute live, like Insta story.
Yeah, we're gonna pick some times. We'll build up to it. We'll let you guys do questions and stuff because we.
Hopefully, I won't be walking around next time.
Yeah, Jared was like giving us architectural, digressions. It was wild. He was like, "Oh, this one's Spanish style, and I want this." Okay, it's enough, guys. It's enough. Anything else, Mr. Dubois?
That's it, guys. Get on for the Patreon for the bonus.
All right, shout out to Nikki Soup and Sausage. Thank you to him. As always, we'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.
Damn, dog. You're not pro. Danger Zone!
What have you done for me lately?
And or hello.
The horror show.
I wouldn't be caught dead in a sweater vest.
Don't nobody go in the bathroom for about 35 to 45 minutes. Oh, baby! Oh, baby! Oh, would you look at that? An absolute firecracker. Oh, it's incredible! It's powerful! Please, come on, some photo.
J. Rodius.